Okay, let's talk about something that is super frustrating for so many people. You have a service page, you can see it's getting traffic, people are clicking, but your inbox? It's a ghost town. No clients. Well, today we're going to break down a system to fix that for good. This is a method for building service pages that don't just get views, they actually get you clients. Let's dive in. So, this is the big question, isn't it? You pour all this work into your service, you build the page, you launch it, and then crickets. The leads just don't show up. It's an incredibly common problem, but here's the thing you need to know. It's not random. There's a very, very predictable reason why this keeps happening. And that quote right there is the key. Service pages that don't convert aren't failing in some unique, mysterious way. Nope. They are almost all making the exact same mistakes. And you know what the good news is? Because the failure is predictable, the fix is predictable too. It all comes down to understanding the real core problem. We call this the quiet failure. And it's quiet because on the surface, the page probably looks pretty good. You know, it's got all the confident buzzwords, all the impressive sounding claims. But here's the deal. Savvy buyers, the exact clients you really want to work with, they have a built-in BS detector for this stuff. They can just feel when there's no real substance and poof, they're gone. And here it is. This is the absolute heart of the issue. Most service pages fail for one simple reason. We open up a blank page and we immediately start trying to persuade. We reach for the power words, the slick taglines, and the benefit statements before we've even nailed down the simple, honest reality of what we're selling. We're putting the cart way, way before the horse. And that's why it doesn't work. So the solution, as you might guess, is to completely flip that process on its head. It's a huge shift in thinking. Instead of leading with all that persuasive language, you're going to lead with clarity. First, you define the concrete, boring, honest reality of your service. What it does, who it's for, what it costs, what it doesn't do. And only then do you build the page around that solid, truthful foundation. And just look at the difference here. The old way, on the left, it's all about hype. It's about persuasion at all costs. But the new way, on the right, that's all about reality. You're swapping out those vague promises for just honest commercial terms. You're trading power words for clear constraints. You basically stop trying to trick people into buying, and you start simply informing the right people so they can make a smart choice. Okay, so let's get practical. How do we actually do this? Well, it starts with pillar number 1, define your reality. This is your groundwork. Before you write a single word of copy, you have to get out a notepad and document the hard facts. What is the service, exactly? Who is it for? What specific problem does it solve? And what are the real-world commercial terms? Check this out. This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Look at that weak statement, transform your marketing. I mean, what does that even mean? It sounds big, but it's totally empty. It's fluff. Now look at the strong one. It gives you a number, a time frame, and the exact method. A real client can look at that and go, okay, I get it. That's a real, measurable promise. And here's the secret, the really counterintuitive part. A promise that is so vague that it can't be proven wrong is also a promise that absolutely nobody believes. When you state your value with enough specificity that someone could actually check your work, that's when you create instant credibility. The constraint itself is what builds the trust. Now, this idea of defining your reality flows right into our second pillar, which is to build with transparency. So once you have all those hard facts documented for yourself, the next step is simple, but it can feel scary. You have to share them openly, right there on your service page. And we call these the commercial parameters. We're not just talking about a list of features here, we're talking about the real-world logistics. How long does this engagement last? How often are we going to meet? And the big one, what's the typical investment range? I know. Putting a price range like this right on your website, it feels absolutely terrifying for most of us. But I'm telling you, it is one of the most powerful things you can possibly do. Why? Because it instantly pre-qualifies every single person who sees it. Think about it. Sticker shock only happens when a client's expectations are completely out of line with reality. By being transparent about the investment upfront, you're not scaring away the good clients. You are politely filtering out all the tire kickers, and at the same time, you're attracting the serious buyers who can immediately see, okay, yeah, this is in my budget. This makes sense. It's like a magnet for the right people. And this transparency, it doesn't stop at price. It has to extend to your process too. Look at this example. Phase 1, discovery. What is that? It's vague, it's abstract. A buyer can't picture it. But Week 1, a 90-minute interview where we document your workflow and you get a map as the deliverable? Okay, now that is a concrete step I can imagine myself taking. It makes the whole thing feel real and trustworthy. All right, this brings us to our final pillar. And honestly, this might be the most counterintuitive one of all. Your goal is not to attract everyone who stumbles across your page. Your goal is to actively filter for the perfect client. And that means you have to be unapologetically clear about who this service is not for. Having a section on your page titled, "Who This Is Not For," is like a superpower for your business. When you state this clearly, two amazing things happen. First, you save yourself hours and hours of time on dead-end sales calls. And second, and this is the really cool part, the people who are a perfect fit read that and they feel this immediate sense of relief. They think, oh my gosh, finally, someone who actually gets me. And this whole philosophy of filtering, of being honest and respectful, it goes all the way down to the very last thing on the page, your call to action. It shouldn't be some high-pressure, shouty command like, buy now. It should feel like a low-pressure invitation to have a conversation. It makes taking that next step feel safe. So really, when you boil it all down, this entire system is about changing your fundamental goal. The goal of a traditional service page is just to get more clicks, period. The goal of this system is to start better conversations, but only with the right people. Now, let me be really clear. This approach will almost certainly get you fewer total inquiries. But, and this is a huge but, the quality of those inquiries will be infinitely better. The people who reach out will already know what you do, who you do it for, and roughly what it costs. That's not just better marketing. That's a fundamentally better, more efficient way to run your entire business. So I'll leave you with one last question to think about for your own work. Take a hard look at your service page and ask yourself, is it shouting at a crowd just hoping that anyone will listen? Or is it whispering the truth to the exact person who needs to hear it? Because that difference, well, that's everything.